that in 1768, Captain James Cook set sail from Great Britain in search of the Great Southland. Actually, it was more like a Pacific cruise with holidays in Tahiti and New Zealand before he finally got there. You see, the problem was, the British had filled up their jails with people who stole bread and other revolutionaries so much that they needed somewhere else to put them. It's a bit like nicking over to your neighbour's place and sticking your rubbish in their bin when they're not looking. He landed at the edge of the Eora territory, named it Botany Bay, met the locals, shot them, and immediately decided that anybody who wore such little clothing and only carried spears didn't really count as humanity, so he named this land Terra Nullius. Terra Nullius is Latin for unclaimed land, or English for, look, we've got bigger weapons than you, so we'll just take it. More importantly, this was the first documented case of racism in this country. Now, what is racism? What kind of things are racist?
I like how it is and everything with Aboriginals and all that, that's fine, but when we see the Chinese and the bloody Italians and all that coming over here, I don't like it.
So what is racism? What makes something racist? We're going to have to look at the dictionary. And the dictionary says, racism, the belief that human races have distinctive characteristics which determine their respective cultures, usually involving the idea that one's own race is superior and has the right to rule or dominate others. Or 2, offensive or aggressive behaviour to members of another race stemming from such a belief.
Australians shouldn't think that anything we're advocating, well, we're not advocating anything except that we shouldn't have immigration until we get jobs for the people who are already here. It's not a racist policy, it's a jobs policy for Australians.
Racism and ethno-religious persecution has existed throughout history and has been used as a rallying point for whole groups of people to systematically slaughter each other since the beginning of time. More recent history shows us this feeling of racial superiority has been used to move whole groups of people to the systemic sanctioned killing that is war. Hitler, Pol Pot, Bosnia, the Gulf War, South Africa's apartheid regime, and just about any other war you can think of, has been driven and fueled by racial hatred.
Have you witnessed acts of racism in your daily life?
Constantly.
How did it make you feel?
Nauseous. And angry.
Do you think that the most of the racism you notice is like big overt racism?
No, it's cowardly, subtle, stab in the back, nasty racism. It's people who don't have the courage of their convictions.
So prevalent has the murder of people on grounds of race been that it's been given its own name. Genocide.
All right, if you're going to settle somewhere, do you kill the people around that area so you can settle?
The systematic slaughter of Australia's Indigenous population began from the first point of contact with Captain Cook. The first Aboriginal that the landing party came across, they shot. Luckily, society's attitudes are changing. Since the idea of the global village has emerged from the information technology boom, the concept of one's own race being superior to another's is no longer acceptable. Not only is it wrong in a moral sense, in Australia, it's also wrong in a legal sense. The Anti-Racial Vilification Act came into being in New South Wales, October 1989. What is the Anti-Racial Vilification Act?
I have no idea.
Have you heard of it?
Well, to be honest, no, I haven't heard of the vilification. I don't believe in anti-racism, as I stated when I first started. You know, I've got no problem with any race.